My daughter refused the truck I gave her on her birthday because it's a grandpa car, and now is asking for it back. My daughter just turned 17 and my wife and I were planning on gifting her our old Ford Ranger as we were saving up for a new Tundra. We don't have much. My wife is disabled and can't work and I work almost 80 hours a week to get all of our bills paid. My little girl is my whole world. Always has been. She's full of life in both my wife and I want her to have everything that we didn't. But it kills me that I can't give her more. I tried to get the old Ranger looking as pretty as possible for her. I even paid to get a detail and had the inside looking brand new. My daughter scheduled her road test on her birthday and the day of. I had tears in my eyes when she ran up and told us that she passed. She was so excited and so was I as I pulled around the DMV in the Ranger with a big ribbon I had stuck on top of it. I hopped out of the Ranger and ran over to my daughter and said happy birthday sweet thing. My daughter didn't hug me back and just looked at the Ranger like it was a piece of roadkill. In front of both me and the driving instructor, my daughter made a gagging noise and said I don't want to drive that ugly old thing. I want a white Jeep Wrangler. I admit I felt like less of a man getting humiliated like that in front of a complete stranger, and I took my daughter to the side to scold her. I told her that any 17-year-old would be jumping for joy over their first car, used or not. I reminded her that I didn't get my first car until I was nearly 23 years old and that her mother and I had been saving up for almost 2 years in order to buy the Tundra so we could gift her the Ranger. That's when my daughter said the most hurtful thing that I ever heard come out of my child's mouth. She looked me straight in the face and said, "You can be such a loser sometimes, Dad," and walked away. We drove home in silence and my daughter gave me the silent treatment. For 4 days straight after that, when she finally decided to speak to you again, it was to ask me if she could sell the Ranger in order to buy her precious white Jeep Wrangler. I was so shocked I had raised somebody so spoiled and entitled and decided to talk to my wife before I made a decision. My wife was disgusted when she heard about how ungrateful our daughter was being about the car and said there was no way in hell she was selling that car. We spoke to our daughter together and told her that she had completely missed her chance to sell the Ranger, and that if she wanted that Jeep, she should hop on Indeed. My daughter went right back to giving us the silent treatment but spent the entire rest of the week slamming doors and kitchen cabinets with all her might just to annoy us. I have never been a penny man, but I decided to sink to my daughter's level for once. After a week of my daughter's brattiness, I printed out a McDonald's job application and put it in an envelope with a bow on it. I walked in on my daughter loudly cooking herself dinner in the kitchen, noticing that she was knocking the pots and pans around extra loud, and handed her the envelope with a smile on my face. I can't lie, it broke my heart a little bit to see her light up like that. I'm sure she thought it was either the registration to her white Jeep Wrangler or the money to buy it. When my daughter opened the envelope, she seemed confused as to what the document was, so I helped her sound out JOB application McDonald's, very slowly. My daughter finally dropped her angry act and began crying like a little toddler. She started apologizing to me over and over again and saying that she just wanted to be able to drive herself around, not to drive herself to some crappy job. I explained to her that I had held a couple crappy jobs just to buy the Ranger, and if she flipped enough burgers she might afford a nicer car like that.